Okay, so today what we're going to learn about is the distributive property. We've been learning about different properties that work in addition and multiplication. Today is just another property that we're going to add to that list. The distributive property, what it does here, as you can see in the notes algebraically, is we're going to take this A and we're going to take it times B, and then we're going to take A times C. And then when we write it out algebraically, we have AB plus AC. But if we were doing it with numbers here, again, I would take 3 times 4, which is what I have here, and then I would add 3 times 5, which is what I have here, and then put the like terms together at the end before I finish up. The first set of examples and the first set of problems try to get us to use mental math to solve these distributive property problems. So what it wants us to do is rewrite this problem as a distributive property problem. So instead of writing 21 as a 2-digit number, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the tens and the ones apart. I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say 3 times 20 plus 1 and put parentheses around it. Then I'm going to use my distributive property, and I can actually solve this using mental math. 3 times 20 we get 60. 3 times 1 we get 3, and then we can just add those two together to get our answer, 63. So again, in your homework for this section, I know a couple of us don't do a particularly good job, but I'm not going to be looking for the answer. I'm going to be looking for this step right here. So I'll tell you right now, if all you have written down in your homework is the number 63, it's not correct. Try the next one on your own, pause the video, and then see if you get it right. Okay, so if we're going to do this, we're going to write this as a distributive property problem. We're going to say 7 times 40 plus 3 instead of 7 times 43. Again, we distribute through the parentheses. 7 times 40, when we multiply, we get 28 with a 0 on the end. 7 times 3 is 21. We can add 280 and 21 together, and we get 301 for our solution. This next piece takes what we know about fractions and does kind of the same thing that we just did in the last set of problems. So again, first example here, what we're going to do is rewrite this as 1/4 times 2 plus 2 over 7. And then when we go to do this, it's pretty simple. So we distribute this 1/4. I'm going to do this as side work over here. So 1 over 4 times 2 over 1. That's going to reduce to 2 over 4, and that simplifies to 1 over 2. Then if I multiply 1 over 4 times 2 over 7, we multiply straight across. I'm going to go ahead and cross cancel first, though. That's going to become a 1, that's a 2. So now I have 1 over 14. So I have 1 over 2 plus 1 over 14. I'm going to add those two together. I need a common denominator, so I'm going to multiply by 7 on both of these. So here's what I end up having. I have 1 over 14 plus 7 over 14, and I can get my final answer, 8 over 14. So again, I want you to do that same thing with the next example, kind of follow the pattern. But I'm looking for the answer, and I'm looking for this step right here. Notice how much side work I had to do over here, so you're probably going to have to do the same. All this side work is absolutely necessary. We can't just skip that. Okay, so pause, make sure you try this. But here's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to say 5 over 9 times the quantity 4 plus 1 over 2. Again, side work. We have 5 over 9 times 4 over 1. There's nothing that can reduce there. 5 times 4, we get 20 over 9. And then for my other problem, I have 5 over 9 times 1 over 2. Again, nothing cross cancels, so I have 5 over 18. Looks like we need a common denominator, and all I have to do is multiply this fraction by 2. So that turns this into 40 over 18. And then I can just add on my 5 over 18. So I get 45 over 18. And if you guys want to, you can leave it like that just because there is a lot of work to this problem. I'll take these improper fractions. If you wanted to turn it into a mixed number, you can do that also. Okay, the last set of problems today, we're actually going to be working with some algebraic expressions, meaning our answer is not going to be just a number. There's going to be a number and an expression with a variable in it of some kind. So looking at this first one, it's pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply both of these terms through here. When we do that, we get 3x plus 12. So again, we multiplied both of those things. If it helps to write out the step, you could also write this 3 times x plus 3 times 4. If that helps, go ahead and write that step out. But this is our solution. We can't go any farther because 3x and 12 are not like terms. Go ahead and pause the video and try the next two. When you go to do those, just make sure you multiply everything, not just the variable. Okay, so on this one, again, we're going to take 9 times 2n. I'll go ahead and write it out, plus 9 times 1. It's a plus sign there. There we go. 9 times 2n is going to give us 18n, plus 9 times 1 is going to give us 9. And that is our final answer. Those cannot be combined any farther. This last one, just because there's not only two terms doesn't mean that we don't have to distribute to all of the terms inside. So again, we have 8 times 5g plus 8 times 5 plus 8 times negative 2. Watch what happens to our sign on this last one. 8 times 5g is 40g plus 8 times 5 is 40. Now notice, because this term is positive and this term is negative, this should be a minus sign here because it's going to be a negative term. We multiply 8 and 2 and we get 16. We always look to combine like terms if there are any. Notice here that 40 and 16 are like terms, so we can go ahead and put those together and we get 24. So our final answer will be 40g minus 24. And that will be all for this lesson. We're going to split it into 2 days. So now go ahead and check your page for the assignment and go ahead and work on those problems for the rest of the class.